evening, this is the XS Manchester Football Social. I'm Jim and this is your place to talk about your team. Red or blue, get involved and have a chat about the weekend's footballing action. The number you need, 0345 111 7625. Get involved on that. Just costs the same to give us a call as it does to just call a local to your mum or your takeaway or wherever you normally phone. Just get involved on today's show. Give us a bell early doors, because if you give us a call early, you're guaranteed to get on. 0345 111 7625 is the number. Moaning, celebrating, or just questions for our two legends in the studio this evening. Manchester City's Gary Owen. Evening, Gio.
Hi, Jim. How are you, sir?
Very good, thank you. And Mickey Thomas from the famous Man United that are now off to Wembley again. How you doing, Mickey?
Good evening, Jim. I'm obviously in a little bit of a mess because I've been up with Gio for a couple of days celebrating. I've been happy, of course. I had to buy all the drinks for him.
So we're likely to see if we've been out with him for 3 days, he wouldn't be here.
That sounds like a Netflix documentary that we should be making. We're going to be talking about the FA Cup semi-final win over Spurs a little later for Manchester United. They are in their final and chasing a record 20th FA Cup win, along with the outrageous ticket prices being touted for the final as well. We'll talk about that soon as well. Are the FA taking the Michael with that? 0345 111 7625 is the number. The text number is 87711. But first, let's talk about the PFA Player of the Year, because that has been officially awarded, and officially awarded not to Kevin De Bruyne. A record-breaking 5 players from Man City made it into the PFA Team of the Year last week, only one from United, Mickey. But the PFA Player of the Year, which is the big one, it didn't end up in this city. Instead, it went up the road to Liverpool and the Egyptian wizard Mo Salah. Do we think that was the right call? Do you think a certain KDB should have picked up that award? 0345 111 7625 is the number. Gary, right decision?
I'd have to say yes, and this goes against, and I can hear City fans now shouting down the radio, but when I say yes, listen, the team that scores the most goals normally win the league. The player that scores the most goals normally voted for the Player of the Year. Goals are the hardest thing to do. You can ask Mickey, anything in football, the hardest thing to do in football is score. And for him, that's not really an out-and-out striker, he's more of a wide player. I mean, 41 goals is phenomenal. Well, not when I say phenomenal, when you think you have to go back to the days of Ian Rush in the 70s, early 80s to have got anywhere near it. You're talking many, many years.
And the season's not over yet. We've still got another 5 games.
Listen, but as an all-out, all-together football, of course I'm going to say Kevin De Bruyne, but I understand why Salah's won it. It's De Bruyne is unlucky this year because Salah's scored that many goals. If he'd not scored that many goals, Kevin De Bruyne would have had it. But the goals speaks for itself. It's an unbelievable achievement. So I can't really argue with it, although I'm disappointed that Kevin didn't get it.
I'll argue that, Gus. I'll argue that because I think, City are champions. They've won that at a canter. Liverpool are third in the table. Yes, his goal return has been magnificent, Salah, but for me, because you don't score the goals, you don't really get the credit for what you do through the course of a season. And I'm talking to you, we're both midfield players, we both make goals, and that the ones that make the goals never get the credit that they deserve.
No, you're absolutely right. And
hang on, is this Mickey defending a Man City player?
No, but as a creator, honest. As Mickey was, as I was.
Yeah, I'm just being brutally honest. And, his input for City has, without doubt, been massive. And what you see now is what Gary just said, it's hard to argue with 41 goals. Well, I will argue it because I'm on the other side of it. I think De Bruyne is probably, for me, streets ahead of him in terms of technical ability. He's got a brain and creativity in that.
He's created most.
Salah's been very fortunate. He's in that formation that they play, Liverpool, and it's very accommodating to him. I'm not knocking him. He's a great player, no question, a great goal scorer. But I'm looking on the wider scale and I'm thinking, really, Kevin De Bruyne will be a little bit disappointed today.
I think there's 2 ways to look at this. And one of them, you look at Salah and KDB as quite different players. And on one hand, Man City have won the league at a counter. And you'd kind of expect the player of the season to then come from Man City. But on the other hand, if you took that player out of each of those teams, would Man City have won the league without Kevin De Bruyne?
Well, listen, I was only having this conversation the other day. We couldn't have even imagined playing for any length of time without Aguero, or Yaya Toure, or Vincent Kompany or Fernandinho or Sane when he was injured. It was so Mendy. You couldn't imagine playing, but players have come in and done the job. So when players were missing, but Kevin De Bruyne, let's not underestimate his power and what he's done for us in that team has been phenomenal. But when David Silva, when they've been out for lengths of times and missing games, other players have come in and the wagon has just rolled on. Thankfully, we don't have to make that a comparison because he's escaped injuries when some of the challenges that went on him might have given him injuries, kept him out. He's played a lot of the games. He's been a fantastic footballer. He's been a joy to watch. The difference also is, as Mickey's saying, is that he's not just outfield player who's attacking. He has to defend on our edge of our box. He's got to create. He's got to get forward. But I'll still come back to the hardest thing in football is to score goals. It's the hardest thing to do. And normally the people that score the most goals, the people that cost the most money is normally the people that score the goals. The team that wins the Premiership is not the team that scores the most goals. The Player of the Year is normally somebody who scores the most goals.
I think the best team win the Premiership. It doesn't lie the table, is it? They've won it. But the argument, Jim, is obviously fair, I have to say, because I'm looking at it from a different angle. They might not win nothing this season, Liverpool. Yes, it's 41 goals, whatever it is. And Gary said it the other week, and I wouldn't disagree with him. He said about he won't have that record next year. I don't think he'll score that many goals.
I don't think he'll score that many goals.
But my point being, I just think, you normally give it to the side that wins things, don't you?
Yeah. Well, you say that, but when Pellegrini came to City, he won the League Cup and he won the league, and they gave the Manager of the Year award to Pulis.
Well, there's still no guarantee. Did Pep get the PFA Manager of the Year? I assume he did. I haven't even checked that result.
I don't know.
My point being, anyway, that Salah, if he was taken out of the Liverpool team, would have far more impact than taking KDB out of the Manchester City team. And that, if you're looking at individual impacts, goes some way to explaining why he picked up the PFA player.
Well, listen, both were fantastic players. Both had great seasons. And listen, if you're a Liverpool fan, you'll argue the point that Salah should have done because of the goals he scored.
But guys, the impact, you're right, though, is Salah because the goals are there for everyone to see.
And but both.
The guy that makes the goals and has a very much of an influence on the performances week in, week out, never really gets that recognition. I mean, De Bruyne has from I think, ex-players and people like that, but he's been voted against with the PFA wars, and the players in that division vote for who they think, obviously, that more for.
Have they not voted for earlier or something? But
they voted for a few months back, So weirdly before the end of the season. But both players, absolute stone cold evidence of Jose Mourinho's.
It's an argument.
It's Jose Mourinho's generosity in giving those players to other teams. What a generous man Mourinho is.
And Lukaku scored 20-odd, 30 goals for United.
Let's talk to Phil. He's on the phone. He's a Blue. Evening, Phil.
Evening, lads. We're all right.
Hi, Phil.
Are you sticking up for your man KDB? Do you think he should have had that big old shiny trophy this weekend?
I think that it's a team game, and I think that individual awards are like the little symbols you put on bracelets that you tag onto a bracelet. I don't begrudge Mo Salah's award for 1 minute. I actually agree with you, Jim, when you said that if you took De Bruyne out of City's team, the impact on the team wouldn't be as great as if you took Salah out of Liverpool. And I think that's probably what swung it for Salah. To score 40 odd goals in any league is absolutely fantastic, any league. But in the English league, I've got to say that is something special because that's not easy. De Bruyne has been outstanding.
Phil, sorry to be so rude, but Phil, I mean, Salah for me, Phil, let me say, you're right, an incredible return, 41 goals, but without, as you said, being a team and the players in that team to provide those goals. Now, Kevin De Bruyne for City has been magnificent throughout the season, so his input has been just as much as Salah, but unfortunately the goals people see more of.
Yeah, I think that's what swung it, Mickey. De Bruyne's impact on City has been absolutely. He was at it again yesterday in a match that didn't really matter. But you're right. The goal scorers take all the plaudits. I mean, I'd be interested to see if it was ever won by a goalkeeper. I mean, if a goalkeeper keeps, let's say, 27, 28 clean sheets in a season, that's as important as 35 goals at the other end, isn't it? So,
of course.
I'll tell you what, we're going to find that out. We're going to get James over who's answering the calls today on the social to find out whether the Player of the Year award, the PFA Player of the Year, has ever been won by a goalkeeper. So we're going to find that out for you. So carry on, Phil.
I do think that De Bruyne will win the Football Writers' one.
Yeah, I do.
I think they'll probably look at it slightly, more from a journalist point of view. So I do think that Kevin, and that's fair enough. One for Kevin, one for Salah. Like I say, I don't begrudge Salah that. He's been magnificent.
But you know something, Phil, let me just say, and obviously I wanted Kevin De Bruyne to win it. Of course I did. But when you look at Liverpool and you think that, we've scored 73 goals, they've only scored 43 goals. The goal difference of 73 and 43. The goal difference is 43. So, and they're also 19 points behind us. So that is a hell of an achievement to think he's not playing in the team that's scoring all the goals, in the team that's top of the league. Liverpool are sat in third with a goal difference of 43 and ours of 73. So for him to get 41 goals is some achievement. Listen, I'll take anybody's bet now if you want. He's not going to get near 41 next season. That's a certainty.
Well, that's because he might be at Real Madrid.
No, he'll stay at Liverpool another year.
I don't know. I don't think Liverpool will let him go.
My tongue was firmly in my cheek there, boys.
Yeah.
Phil, cheers for coming on. Appreciate that, mate. And to answer your question, Peter Shilton won the PFA Player of the Year award in 1978 when he was playing for Forest.
There you go, then. That's a long time ago, though, wasn't it? Before your lifetime, anyway.
It was a while back.
Cheers, Phil. Yeah, unfortunately, not before our lifetime. We were playing in it.
Time to go now, Phil.
Hey, listen, Jim. See you, buddy. Find out. Ask James outside, will you? Because this is now evidence every time I put the screen on. Burnley, where are they? Seventh position. Seventh position. How long have Burnley been sat in seventh position? I bet it's got to be since early December.
Yeah,
I think
they've never moved off seventh. They've not gone down, they've not gone up.
Amazing job from Sean Dyche. You've got to see him as a potential for that Arsenal job, haven't you? If they want to go to an English manager, do you not think...
I think Ancelotti.
Not a chance in that, Jim.
I think Ancelotti.
Well, probably Ancelotti, probably someone else, but it will not be Sean Dyche for Arsenal. That's not for them. They want a high profile. Yes.
Yeah, they need somebody that has managed in Europe and whatever.
Expectations at a different level, and Burnley aren't at the same level as an Arsenal.
But if Burnley stay where they are, they could be having away days in Europe next year.
Very true.
Europa League, because it could go down to seventh.
But will that act as a distraction then? We've seen it before with the likes of Ipswich.
You ask a Burnley fan, they've never been in Europe, as far as I know of. Get them into Europe, have days out. That's what it's all about. It's no good having a great season and have nothing to show for it apart from finishing away from relegation. You want to have something that give you a chance in Europe, of course.
Speaking of great seasons, United could have a very glittering end to theirs with an FA Cup final against Chelsea. We're going to talk about that soon. Your views on the weekend's game and the ticket prices. £175 for some tickets for Wembley for the final. 0345 111 7625 is the number if you want to get involved. 87711 is the text number. We'll get onto that shortly. Before we do, to go back to the PFA Player of the Year debate, when we looked at the Team of the Year, a record-breaking 5 City players appearing in that team. Mickey, one United player, David De Gea, which is kind of the obvious choice. He is the best keeper in England at the moment. But was it disappointing for a team that's second in the league? You'd expect them, if the team that are winning out of 5, you'd expect more red shirts in that Team of the Year, wouldn't it? Was it disappointing not to see any more United players getting the nod, or is that a symptomatic of the way United have played this season?
No, I've got to have a balance, an opinion here, Jim. And, the team that's winning the league, rejoice the players should be in that. For me, anyway. If you win the league, you would say that you're looking at a vast amount from that one side in that City at the top. Yes,
but then if United are second, they should have the second most players in there.
It's very, very difficult in terms of, consistency being performance week in. Very, very difficult. De Gea has been outstanding. Is anyone else I would really say that a possibility of getting that 11? No.
Lukaku would listen, you either like him or you hate him.
I would say Lukaku, but unfortunately he's going against a guy who scored 41 goals.
It's like that Marmite, you either like it or you don't like it, and that's with Lukaku. But you can't take away the goals he scored now.
He's been brilliant.
The way that team has been set up is 4-3-3. So the three he's coming up against, and the only one that he could have replaced, and here we go again, he can't replace Salah. He's 41 goals.
No.
Can't replace Kane. He's got 30 odd, whatever he's got.
Yeah.
And then Aguero, the only Aguero, he's probably scored as many, if not more than Aguero. So it could only be Aguero's place that he could have taken, but the players obviously playing against him week in, week out decided that they were the three. And you can't argue with the three.
It is essentially meaningless, isn't it, who gets in these PFA teams of the year? Unless
it's meaningless. It's meaningless if you're not in it. But if you're in it, it's definitely,
On the topic of Lukaku, I was amazed to find out this weekend that he has scored more goals this season than he has in any of his previous seasons. And yet this season he's had more criticism than any other season he's played. It makes no sense. As you say, Mickey, he's had an astounding season.
A lot of the criticism he gets because he plays up on his own all the time.
Yeah.
Always on his own. And like at Wembley, Mickey, after the first 20 minutes, United then started to control the game. But second half, when balls were knocked up to Lukaku, he had no support. He was fighting the lone battle up there on his own.
He worked exceptionally hard. He does. He doesn't get that credit and that. Yeah, he's judged on goals, and I have to say, his return in goals, guys, has not been bad.
I'm just reading something here now, Mickey, and I'm listen, unless this is Mourinho doing the mind games again, but he says the club will not be one of the big spenders in the summer transfer market and will only invest the basic to improve our squad. Now, anybody that believes that, if he believes that himself, then he has definitely lost the
I said
plot.
At least 4 to 5 players.
And he's saying
to see come in.
They won't be one of the big spenders. Sorry, Jose, we don't believe you, mate.
We'll turn the attention to the United, the FA Cup, and what the future holds for them very shortly on the XS Manchester Football Social. Just to answer your question, Gio, how long have Burnley been in 7th position? 15 of the last 16 weeks they have been in 7th.
Another week after.
Okay, with my limited secondary modern education, where does that take us back to then?
What,
15 weeks? Does that take us back to January or what?
4 months or so, isn't it? So, yeah, January, end of January. Have you got any other questions for James? We're keeping him busy answering the phones today. Have you got any various football trivia you want to know? Just let us know.
I've got one for you.
We'll set him up.
I'll give you one before we go any further. Which football club has never been promoted and never been relegated? Don't answer if you know it.
I know this.
In 147 years.
There you go. I'll tell you what.
Sorry, Jim, quickly, Edison, the City goalkeeper, wants to score a goal this season. Would he play him in an outfield position? What a bit disrespectful.
No, he will be the Alex Stepney of Manchester City, because Alex Stepney at one time, when he was at United, and I've spoken to Alex numerous times about this, he was United's top goal scorer at one time, because he took the penalties, with 3 in October.
Yeah,
and then obviously
I think he would only have to by penalty. Edison probably not going to score from one.
No, it'd have to be a penalty. But then, is that taking the mickey a bit?
Yes, I agree.
Feels a little bit disrespectful just to let him do it because the league's all
just let me let you a
it?
secret. Of this past few weeks, we've had Silva taking a penalty, we've had Aguero taking a penalty, we've had Jesus taking a penalty, we've had Gundogan taking penalties, we've had Sterling taking penalties. Hang on a minute, in our day...
Are you getting too many penalties?
You have one penalty.
I'll tell you
but to be fair, Mickey, you have to get in the box to get a penalty.
Pep Guardiola says there is plenty more to play for
come
this
back
season.
from that one.